So we talked about 3 options for high school players essentially to decide where they want to go. And I guess you could even throw in overseas leagues as a 4th option. Although with the G League making such a strong push, that's pushing that option out of the way, right?
I mean,
I
still,
feel
there's
like,
only
I
a
feel like that
select
competition.
there's only a select amount of spots in the G League
Right.
too. So for sure, there's still going to be players going international.
Right. But my point is, I feel like that competition is going to force all these leagues, right? The HBCU market, the big league schools in the NCAA, and the G League to all compete with one another. And
100%.
competition is perfect because it's going to give the players better conditions. It's going to give them better options. Because, hey, we saw the NCAA approve them making money off their likeness.
That's
I think
a big,
what happens
big
is,
step.
happens if enough players say, hey, I'm going G League, would that force NCAA's hand and saying, hey, okay, they're generating us millions, if not billions of dollars, we got to give them a cut.
I feel like if the G League does take off right now, which it does have a real possibility of doing,
Yep.
I feel like the NCAA has no other option than to come back with something that makes it more appealing. Because if you put me 2 offers on a table, it's one the NCAA, one the G League, and you say G League $500,000, and you say
And that's
NCAA
right now.
right now. Yeah.
If they make more money they could offer more money to the players.
But one second, you say $500,000, $500,000. I'm saying that the offers sweetened for both sides.
Yeah,
I think I would still go NCAA just because of you see some of these G League games. I mean, it might be different this year because of all the attention that they're getting, but they're empty gyms for the most part. Like, I mean, they still have some people there, but it does not compare to NCAA.
I feel like
basketball.
the people that are there though are the ones you want there, right? It's the scouts, it's the coaches, it's the trainers, right?
But as a player,
definitely as a player, you want that. You want 100%. Those fans behind you, right? The other thing here's another I just had about this. That could be a big culture shock, right? Going from G League BA, if nothing changes, right? If the G League takes off as a league in popularity, right, and 100%. Everyone starts flocking to these games, then this point is moot. But if the players choose, I'm going to go G League, I'm going to make my money, I'm going to improve in silence, right? I'm not going to get that big attention of March Madness or anything, right? And then they get drafted, and now they're playing in front of 22,000 people for the first time, right?
It could be a shock.
Big shift too.
That's a good point.
I know it's the same idea in college, but I guess it's more gradual. They're going from like high schools with a couple hundred people to college, in the low teens, like 10,000, and then they go again up to like 20,000.
But we'll see again because first of all, we don't know how seasons are gonna be from now on. So even if the NCAA played, would they have a stadium full of fans? We still don't have those answers.
No.
So,
but the hope is that it's at least temporary, that it won't last beyond this year, next year, or something, right? Hopefully, at least at some point, we will get better. We will all get better.
I have a question for you. Saying both seasons happen for, let's say, for 2 years. So this season passes and we're in next year. And you're a recruit that has the G League offer to get money or play in an empty NCAA gym. What do you do?
Oh, no doubt, dude. I'm going G League. I respect the idea of playing for these big name schools, or even if they do want to do the HBCU, is I guess the caveat, right? That's a little asterisk, well, in this whole argument, right? But if you presented Duke or Sioux Falls, right? I'm going to Sioux Falls. You're with that NBA training staff. You're getting paid your money. You could you could at least start something, right? Man, I cannot imagine myself turning that down.
I see where you're coming from for sure.
Right.
I personally wouldn't have a set decision. I'd probably lose sleep if I was making a decision like this.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And I'm saying this now all confident, but if I had, all those years of training and, if I knew I was the best at the game, then choice too. I'm talking about me as the guy talking to the camera, right? About these guys, right? I'm not one of these guys.
This
Right.
choice literally defines some of these players' life, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to college, and maybe some players stick it out and do 4 years. So, what about? I mean, we're talking about G League, the top prospects. They're probably
Yes.
going to do a one and done anyways. So, is college really appealing to them? They're done.
To those
They don't
guys,
need.
definitely not. Now,
Yeah.
maybe to 4-star recruits to 3 stars. Now you
100.
like a conversation. Like, are you going to be a pro for the rest of your life, or do you want to get a degree and do something there?
So is the G League just going to be filled with the 5-star recruits, and college basketball is just going to be 3-star and 4-star recruits?
Listen, that might be what happens. But let's talk about now. Not looking 10 years in the future, right? Because I feel like no matter what, it's not going to be an overnight shift,
Mm-hmm.
right? A lot of players are still going to be hesitant. They're going to be like, yeah, I can make a little money there, but I can be drafted more if I go, to Duke or whatever. But let's say you're the GM, you have the number one pick, whatever. It doesn't matter who gets the number one pick. You get the top G League player, right, on one of these select contracts, or the top college recruit. Who are you going with?
Man, that's a tough one.
Yeah, we
I gotta
asked the
go
real
college.
questions
The
on this
college.
podcast. Yeah, we asked the real questions here.
Yeah. So it's between the college recruit and
the G League guy on a select contract. So still like a
and
19-year-old kid.
you're the first pick in the NBA draft.
Yeah.
I mean,
Would you
obviously,
rank the college guy or the G League guy first?
1,000 things go into that, Sam. I feel like
No,
the scouting.
assuming they both fit your team, assuming they both provide value to your team, right? You're the New York Knicks, who are devoid of talent.
So let's say
desperate for a new guy, right?
Okay, so let's say, going back on it, say you're the Knicks and you have the first pick,
Mm-hmm.
and
I'm not trying to bash on the Knicks, right?
No,
I
no.
hope that they figure their stuff out, but right now, it's not looking as good as we would want it to.
That was just the first team that came to mind. So you're the Knicks and you're on the clock.
Yeah.
And two guys come up to you, one that you've seen grow in your own league, in your own development league, but then one, let's say they were on the Knicks G League team, so they have extra scouting on them, and then one coming from Kentucky or Duke or one of these crazy schools. Will you trust your own coaching system? Would you bring in somebody that you watched them flourish in your like system, or would you go and trust one of these big schools that they prepared the player for you? Are teams gonna start relying on other teams to prepare prospects for them? What if, as a competition standpoint, I don't think this would happen. I hope it wouldn't happen. But what if an NBA team says to their G League affiliate, hey, don't push this guy to his full potential. We're not looking like we're going to get a lottery pick this year. So although he is a 5-star recruit, slow it down because he might be a threat to us in the future. I just feel like the level of competition there might have an influence. What are your thoughts on that?
Listen, I think that the likelihood of that happening is slim. Now we do rats, swimming like somewhere in the NBA. I think in general, these guys want them to perform, right? They want these recruits to perform because they all think, hey, listen, maybe not now, but when he's looking for another contract, he'll remember us, right, in free agency. He'll remember us. We developed him, right? So there's so many factors there. I don't think teams would intentionally sabotage their players. That doesn't make sense to me why a team would decide to do that. I get the argument, but I feel that would be such a scandal if anyone found out. Right? If someone reported that to ESPN or something, it's over for that team, right? The owner has to sell the team, right? The GM has to quit, right? Dude, I feel like if someone found out that like an owner like is talking to their G League affiliate, like, hi to this guy, don't give him run. Like, we have the 30th pick in the draft next year. Just let him slide to us. Oh, that's gonna be a big scandal.
That's gonna and a terrible look on the team. People will lose respect for the team.
Yeah.
Think about decisions players have made in the past. People lose respect for the players. Imagine a franchise making a decision like this it ruins their image for the next 10,
and
15 years.
That's why I don't think it'll happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen. I think the G League, if they do this, all the coaches or all the teams are gonna put their best assistant coach, as the head coach of the G League, right? They're gonna spend a lot of money. They're gonna invest a lot of talent in terms of the development. I think that the league would profit just as a whole, right? Because more people watching, right? More people, viewing these guys.
Let's say the G League does take over the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the G League with packed arenas and fans who have been fans for years, and the kids loving the G League, watching and getting to love the players. Imagine the environment that they can create and they can build.
Yeah,
I
especially
genuinely
because the
feel
other guys.
Yeah.
The ones that are fringe talents, right? The ones that were drafted and the NBA kicked back and says, "Hey, sit here for another couple of years. We'll call you back up." It's not just these top prospects, because in college right now in NCAA, every team has maybe one guy, maybe two guys if they're lucky that are top recruits, right? Everyone in the G League has at least spent time in the NBA, either on a roster, right, in a summer league team or something, right?
And players, they play with players who are in the league with two-way contracts.
Yep.
So that can also, these players with two-way contracts are balling out in the G League sometimes. They're levels ahead of their competition. Maybe those two-way contracts lose some value now that they're in the G League.
Maybe.
And they're going against greater competition, because you're talking about the number 1 and number 4 player in the nation.
Yeah, dude. And you look at teams like the Heat and the Spurs and the Raptors, right? The ones that have used the G League the most over the past few years to develop their guys. Like, you see these guys come out of nowhere. You see, like, well, to my mind, as you guys may know, we're big Heat fans. Duncan Robinson, right? He spent some time in the G League. Now he's the best shooter in the league, arguably, but the numbers surely say so, right?
He's pretty good.
He's up there, dude. He spent some time in the G League. There's a lot of guys I know just from watching and from following. The Heat find gems out of, and that's because they use their G League affiliate. Imagine every team doing that.
If the G League. The G League affiliates, too, also don't mind if you send down the players if they need it. The only thing that sucks for the G League sometimes, which could be something that takes away from players wanting to go there, is if you're in an important game and it means a lot to you, the NBA can just call back one of your teammates and be like, "We need you over here." And you'll be like, "Well, I need you here."
Right.
Come on, we got to win. And the competition is going to just keep growing and growing. These players are going to get better and better.
Different.
Yeah.
And think about this now. So a lot of G League teams are located in smaller markets, right? They're not always in these giant cities. Yeah. Right? The affiliates are not in the same city necessarily as the team that they belong to.
100%.
That's going to open up markets for sports.
True.
Right?
That's a good
because a lot of college teams, right? Like, for example, like FSU, right? Tallahassee is a big city. It's but it doesn't have the market. You can't put an NBA team in Tallahassee, right? But these G League teams, they're located in similar places, like these colleges are.
I feel like a lot of markets, and it's good for the economy too, obviously, but a lot of the markets are going to grow for sure, without a doubt. Like, when you talk about some of these G League affiliate teams, like, performing a lot better and starting to bring in fans and revenue, and the more money you put into the league, the more money comes into the league, the more money they put into it. So it's guaranteed to grow. And for sure, the more people watching and the more people tuning in, it brings a lot of attention to what they're doing there. And attention is good if you do.
Attention's always a good thing, man. Companies and these associations, right? Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of people forget, right? There's a lot of bright colors, right? And you're rooting for your teams, but all these leagues are business, right? If they're not making content.
Yep.
Right. You see certain things being pushed. You see certain things not being pushed, right? And it's all with money, right? The reason we follow NCAA and not G League right now is because that's all you see, right? They have the deals. They have their deals with ESPN and ABC and all of those guys. Right, you watch the games because they're on, right? And if they start marketing these guys, right? If they start marketing Jalen Green and Jonathan Kuminga, and you start seeing them in commercials and you start seeing them in all these things, right? They become household names, as it grows, right? And all I'm saying is I'm rooting for more, right? The more basketball, the better. The more sports.
100%. If we can have the NBA, the NCAA, and the G League all like being their own individual like good basketball like league,
yeah, man,
I would be all for it. It's just more as a fan, we love seeing as much as we can. Like today, the NBA, we just had our first scrimmages, and I sat there,
dude. It's exciting,
bowl
man.
of popcorn, and just enjoyed it.
It's exciting, dude. It's so fun. And imagine now we're going into like crazy territory, but like, what if the G Leagues had their games during the off season, the NBA off season, right? Have an off season, right? Because
so then we would have year-round basketball.
Hoops, year-round hoops, dude.
I don't
know. That's a stretch. I don't know how that would work. These guys need their time off. But maybe I'm getting selfish at this point, right? Maybe I just want it so bad. Maybe it's because we've been craving basketball for so long now, right?
Yeah, I feel like the G League is also very good because of the two-way contracts that they have now. So I don't feel like that would be taken away. Maybe the players with two-way contracts play during the summer and during the year, but then those players aren't even offered a break. And you call back players and take players out to keep a 15-man roster, which that could also mess up too with strategies. But
that's true.
We weren't even talking about the G League a while back ago, so we can adopt new strategies and new ways to do things. Maybe have like an IR spot or like a designated G League two-way contract spot where you can put a two-way contract player in that spot and bring in a free agent or somebody like claiming off waivers. Yeah, I feel like that's a cool idea. Maybe that would be even fun. A possibility.
Like adopting a little bit from the NFL there you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow our social medias for more updates. See you next time on Backseat Banter.